Ash, and this is a recap review of £1,000 Sisters, the second episode of the show. So we start off with Amy and Tammy in Kentucky, and they're getting ready to drive the 8-hour trip to Atlanta to see Dr. Proctor for the first time. In the last episode, they did have a Skype call with them, and they got weighed at the junkyard, and now they're going down to meet him for the first time. They have a bit of a discussion about how they're both nervous and things are going to have to change, and they decide that while they're down there in Atlanta, they're going to do like a meet and greet with their fans from their YouTube page. And so they talk about that, setting it up, and they also go out to like a country buffet place and have a really big last, blowout meal. That's, the quick beginning of the episode. And then we have them starting the drive. Tammy, like in the first episode when she's in the car, has to sit on the floor in the back of the minivan, and then Amy's husband Michael is driving, and Amy's in the front seat. And there's a lot of times you can tell that Tammy's having a lot of pain when driving. She talks about especially her knees and her legs being really painful. They stop a good couple of times and get fast food and things like we see that a lot on my 600 Pound Life when they're going to see Dr. Now. And they finally get there. They're staying in a nice hotel, and Amy is saying that she worries about Tammy. Even they're like next door to each other in a room, but Amy actually puts a baby monitor next to like the bedside table so that she can check on Tammy as they're both sleeping with their sleep apnea machines. I mean, of the two of them, I definitely think that Amy is the more caring and patient and things. She puts up with a lot, especially considering Tammy's living with her and her husband, and requires a lot of help and care. The next morning they get up and they're going to see Dr. Proctor. So they, on the voiceover, they're talking about how they went to the junkyard the week before and got weighed, and they're thinking that maybe the junkyard scale was wrong, even though, TLC drama, they had the junkyard staff member say how, these scales are tested all the time, like they're definitely not wrong. And they weigh in, and Amy is 400.2 pounds, and she's lost, I think she was 406 last time, so she's lost a couple of pounds. And in the voiceover she's saying, "I was always the skinny sister." I think maybe a choice of words would be the smaller or less overweight, but whatever she wants to say. And Tammy weighs in at 608.2, so she's put on a couple of pounds since the junkyard. Dr. Proctor comes in and basically says to them, like, "You're very overweight, we need to help you because this is, seriously impacting your health." He asks them what they do, and they even subtitles it and says they're influ esters. I think they mean social media influencers. But so they start listing off basically all their health problems. And I mean, if you ever see an advertisement in America for medication and they list off like 10,000 reasons of things that can happen to you, or when you see being obese, or all these things can happen to you, and it lists every single thing that any person's ever had happen to them because of obesity, they pretty much, between the two of them, list off everything. High blood pressure, diabetes, gout, thyroid issues, like the list just goes on and on and on. So Dr. Proctor is kind of like, okay, we need some serious intervention here. They also start to have kind of a little very sisterly argument. I always say there's no relationship in your life like your relationship with your siblings. I have two sisters and a brother. I'm the oldest, and I mean, especially my younger sister and I can go from arguing and shouting at each other, and it's literally, you never say sorry, nothing happens, and 5 minutes later you're like, okay, do you want to go to the movies? Like, it's just the most unique relationship, in my opinion, and I obviously love my siblings to death. You know, they can do no wrong, but nobody else can say anything wrong against them. So when they're having their little argument, Dr. Proctor is kind of making this funny face, and whenever obviously he's being filmed afterwards, he's kind of, you know, mentions them about having like a little argument because Tammy basically tries to tell Amy, oh, I know this, like, and she tries to tell Dr. Proctor, like, oh, I've been telling her to eat healthier and do this, and it's like, not only are you severely overweight yourself, but you also are 200 pounds heavier than Amy. So, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to know. It's like with Anne Boleyn, you have to have a calorie deficit to lose weight. We all know that, but it's different actually being able to apply it. So I think Amy's going about it more the right way, that she's being open and honest, but she's, you know, just taking in all the information she can, instead of trying to prove that she knows, or, you know, make it seem like she's some weight loss guru. So Dr. Proctor tells them that Amy needs to lose 25 pounds before she's approved for surgery, and Tammy needs to lose about 60 pounds to get down to 550. And I was quite surprised that Dr. Proctor said lose 25 pounds and you'll get surgery. With Dr. Now, he mostly just says lose 30 pounds in a month or whatever it may be, and then he kind of sees how they do, and if they need to lose another set amount of weight, it just seemed like a very a quicker process than Dr. Now, but it could just be the way, you know, anything could, a million reasons it could be different, or just even two different doctors practicing differently. So he says he'll set them up with a dietitian. And then we go to the meet and greet that Tammy, Amy, and Michael have set up. And Tammy and Amy are interesting, put up not your average run-of-the-mill videos, but their fans seem just as interesting as they are. They talk a lot about one super fan that shows up, and it's a woman saying, I think her name is Kathy, saying it's Mother's Day and this was the thing that she wanted to do, and it is like a nice scene, because you can tell the Slatons are genuinely like really happy to meet the fans, and Tammy even says something like she doesn't really have any friends in real life, so it's nice to be able to meet people who care about you and things like that. So they do have some nice scenes with their fans, but it definitely would be interested to see the sort of people who really enjoy their videos. Like one younger girl comes in and says she watches their makeup tutorials, and another woman says like she loves their cooking ones. But they're interesting videos for sure. So it's the next day, and they go to meet the dietitian at Dr. Proctor's office, Taylor, and Amy trots out her line of, "Our mother told us that if you eat something sugary, that you should drink a diet soda afterwards to balance it out." And the dietitian just kind of looks at them and is like, "Do you think that's accurate information?" And they're like, "Well, we believed it as kids."
No water at all? Okay. All right. And then what are you drinking during the day?
Sodies.
Sody pops. Okay. And how much do you think you drink a day?
8 to 12 a day.
8 to 12 cans?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's regular soda?
No, it's diet.
It's diet. Okay.
Our mom told us when we were younger, if we ate a sugar, you drink a Diet Coke afterwards and it'll cancel out the sugar.
Okay. Do you believe it to be true?
No. I did when I was a kid.
Sure, okay. No one should be drinking 8 to 10 sodas a day. Just because it's a liquid doesn't mean it's hydrating you or good for you. There's a lot of other substances in those diet sodas that do dehydrate you and absolutely contribute to a poor overall diet and health.
So they obviously, the dietitian's trying to give them, vegetables and things like that to introduce into their diet, eating 3 times a day, no snacks, no sweets, and all that stuff. And it's again, like with Dr. Proctor, like Amy kind of sits and takes it all in, and Tammy is just like, "I've been telling her this," and like, "Oh, Amy, I told you that you need to eat smaller meals a day." And it's just like Anne Boleyn, like they act like Tammy acts like she completely knows it all, and you would think she's a size 8 sitting there, or even a size 8 who's lost a significant amount of weight. Not that she's just obese, but she is 200 pounds heavier than her sister who she's telling this to. So I just, it's the same way I feel about Anne Boleyn and Chantal. They are Foodie Beauty. They just have that personality where they feel like they are the ultimate be all and end all on the subject. She should be grateful that Dr. Proctor and the dietitian are helping them and giving this information and thinking, what can I glean from these people that obviously know way more, not only about the subject, but how to apply it to real life. So I just thought that was a interesting scene. Tammy also makes a claim that, because Amy kind of says what I've just said, like, "Oh, well, why aren't you skinny if you're sitting there and you knew all this?" And Tammy tries to say, like, basically she was losing weight until she moved into Amy's house, and after they leave the dietitian's office, they're having this argument in the car about it, and Amy and Michael get out of the car and Tammy stays in, and obviously they have like the cameras stuck on the dashboard, and Tammy kind of has this bizarre rant about saying, "Oh, why don't my family love me? Is it because I'm big?" And it just seems like a very childish thing to do at the time, and completely nonsensical, because I mean, maybe we've seen her mother, we've seen that she was very harsh and unsupportive, but Amy is her sister who Tammy's living with, who Amy appears to do everything for, looks after her, helps her with everything, and really is patient and kind to her. And Amy is also big herself. The mother is big too. It just seemed like a very like toddler tantrum time. I think even Amy says at one stage, like, you're being like a big baby. And so she just continues to say some things like that, feeling very sorry for herself, and saying, when she's doing her talking head to the camera, she basically is saying she has no control over her life. And I know this sounds very harsh, but she has no one to blame for that but herself. Like, she's the one who's eaten herself into this, the life that she has. And if she wants to change that, then she needs to lose weight. That's it. You just have to apply what you're being told by these medical professionals. And not only that, she also has, again, like Amberlynn, has a very fortunate situation where she's not going out every day having to slog it in the real world like everyone else at their jobs. She has a pretty good income from making YouTube videos. Like, believe me, I would love to do YouTube for my job. And she also now, on top of that, has a TLC program that is bringing her to one of the best surgeons in the country to do weight loss surgery on, and all the things that come with it, for free. So she needs to stop looking at the negatives in her life and look at all the positives that she's been given, and make the absolute most of it. Don't waste this chance. That's my only advice, if I could say anything. Like, what a chance you've been given. So many people would kill for that chance, and I'm sure right about now Amberlynn's regretting turning down My 600-Pound Life or Family by the Ton, whoever was contacting her, whatever TLC entity. But I thought the episode was good, interesting. They definitely, if there wasn't the weight loss element to the show, it definitely would not be my sort of show. I think that they can be quite funny. Amy can be quite funny with that sense of humor, that like self-deprecating kind of humor, but that like very immature, you know, burping and things like that, like it's just not for me. But I do think that Amy comes across, I know that there's some things that both sisters have done in the past that's well documented on YouTube, from casket scandals to animal things to darker sides, but I do have a bit of a soft spot for Amy. I think she comes across as, if nothing else, a good sister, and that's something that I think is very obvious in the show. The way she cares for Tammy and everything she does for her, but yeah, it's the weight loss thing that interests me. So, you know, the beginning of these things, it's always getting to know them, who they are, their bad habits, all that. And it looks like next week they showed a preview that kind of has them doing the throw out of everything in the fridge, and there's like a little argument that breaks out between Tammy and Amy about a case of diet soda, and Amy saying, oh, these are for Michael, and Tammy's like talking to the camera saying, they're not, she wants to have them, like, it, you know, we should throw them out. And then in the next scene they're arguing, but Tammy has the soda in her hand. So yeah, they have also been admitting that they know they're going to be like in really bad moods and grumpy whenever they do actually start the diet and they're not being able to eat and all those things. So I think that we're gonna get a lot more interesting scenes and a lot more arguing, sniping whenever they do actually start the diet. But I know this was filmed over the summer, I believe, but the best of luck to them. Like, I hope they do it, and I hope they don't waste this opportunity and they do get the surgery and turn their lives around, because there's nothing in the world that will make them feel better. And I also think it'll be pretty hilarious if they lose the weight and, you know, are feeling and looking great after Amy did the Amberlynn parody, because I'm sure Amberlynn is green with envy right now over this shiny TLC show. If you've never seen any of the Slaton sisters videos and you even know who Amberlynn is, go and watch Amy's reaction to Amberlynn. It's pretty funny. But I'll be back next week with episode 3. I was gonna do 90 Day Fiancé review this week, but it wasn't on Sunday. So beginning of next week, I'll be back with 90 Day Fiancé. My 600-pound life is also on this week, so I'll do a review of that, probably be up tomorrow. If there's anything else that you guys would be interested in me doing a review for, or any other topic to talk about, please let me know. If you're interested in my weight loss journey, the weight that I've lost, please watch some of my other videos. And if you're interested in following me on social media, my Instagram is the.ash.silver. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel so that you can be notified whenever I post. Thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate every single view, so thank you so much. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.